Hello, everyone. Steve Baker, the voice of the Redhawks here, and I'm thrilled to be joined by the Director of Athletics for Miami University, David Sayler, joins us on the Zoom call. And David, I wanted to check in. I mean, obviously, every day is new news about college sports or colleges in general. In college football, there's, conferences playing, not playing. There's so much, as we have talked about the health and safety of our student athletes that is first and foremost. But obviously, there's other discussions out there, whether it's money, whether it's players leaving or whatever. And you see all this news, and I know everyone involved in college sports, kind of has a hole right now that, there's nothing there. And you can certainly understand the fan situation. And I just, all of these things play together. And I know that you have to be just hearing everything from all different sides. And I wanted to check with you and just get your take of the future of college football, MidAmerican Conference, and particularly Miami, as we head into what would have been the fall season and football season. What do you see as the future of all of this?
I think one of the most challenging things that has arisen from all of this is just the lack of consistent communication between the conferences, and just the fact that they couldn't even adopt a consistent scheduling model across the Power Five and do that in a really coordinated way concerns me a little bit about the direction of where the sport is headed as a whole. The one thing I believe is that Miami as an institution, as a football program, the donor support, the great coaches that have come through here, the NFL history we have of players performing at that level and being involved in Super Bowls, we're going to be a part of whatever that solution looks like going forward. There's too much commitment here and too much time and effort's been put in by so many people before me, during my time, and will be beyond my time. So I'm very confident that in whatever format college football shifts to or might adjust to over time as a result of any of these, challenging times, we'll be at the forefront of those discussions and certainly be involved.
Yeah, and certainly the Mid-American Conference has been at the forefront. Obviously, the first conference to choose not to play, even if you go back to January, Miami and the Mid-American Conference was the first to cancel a game over this, and actually 2 games over this. The conference has played an important role, and I know Commissioner Steinbrecher is involved in those talks, and as you said, leading the way there, right?
He has been. He's been a great leader. He's even tried to get other conferences to kind of go in with us. We knew other conferences were having similar discussions about whether they should postpone. What should we start talking about the spring? And other commissioners would talk to him, but nobody really was willing to engage or take that step with us. And so it kind of forced our hand, where our presidents decided we were going to step out and make the move first. And my sincere hope is that now that we've done that and we've kind of shown the way, I still believe others will follow. And I hope that we can kind of come up with a better coordinated plan for the winter, spring, whatever season football is going to be played in. But I am fully committed to making our second semester football season very robust and competitive, and I want to make it the best it can be for all the student athletes and coaches.
Well, that was kind of my next question, if you would, David, that with the hope of spring football and spring sports coming up, is that, I know you're looking at it, but my question is that something you can seriously look at right now and know that things every day are changing on one landscape or another?
They are changing, and I think that's one of the hardest things about this entire process has been that you plan and then you adapt, and then you plan and you change. And that's been the hardest thing for leaders who are used to kind of setting a course and then doing everything to go on that course. And the course, the virus is the virus, and it controls what it does as much as, we can't control it. So I think we're going to have a really good plan in place. The one thing I'm encouraged is that our conference has gotten student athletes involved. And so we're hearing their voice. We're talking to them about what we're thinking and getting their feedback. I know that the commissioners put together working groups for each individual sport and how that's going to work in the second semester. And we're also engaged with the NCAA, who has now, said they're going to run championships in the spring. So, how are those going to look? And again, the goal is to get student athlete feedback, coach feedback, NCAA feedback, and come up with something that is the most robust kind of competitive situation we can provide for our kids, but do it in a safe way. That has to be the overriding factor in all of this. And the hope is that, as time goes on, we'll continue to understand more and treat the virus better and have more answers.
And you alluded to them in your opening answer, David, but I do want to, shout out to the donors and encourage the donors even more during this time. And I know, with the red and white auction, some other things that we've been doing, the donor support has been there. And that's going to be key going forward, whether it's a pandemic or not. That to me seems to be a huge key for Miami athletics in general.
It's critical, and it's critical for everyone. I certainly am very cognizant of the economy and the challenges that many people are facing, and very cognizant of everything going on. I'll preface everything with that. But there's no question that the support is really important for us going forward to make sure that we can continue to operate the same way and provide the same opportunities for our student athletes. I was on the phone with all the folks that have given us support to build the indoor. And the main reason I did it was I said, do you realize starting in December and January how busy that building is going to be? I mean, from 4 a.m. to 2 a.m. in the morning, that 22 hours, I think it's going to be used every hour of the day because everyone's going to be getting ready to play in that second semester, and the weather's not real good here. So that indoor facility is going to get so much use. And the football building that we built, the donors, Chuck and I have both been in touch with those that supported that project because we're using it as an academic space now. For a lot of our student athletes, that we can do it in a distance situation, but they're able to go into a room and connect on Zoom with their professor and have a quiet place to do that instead of a house that's really crowded. So the fact that our donors provided that support, I want to make sure we're communicating to them how we're using the spaces. And on top of that, just the scholarship support and the endowment support is going to be critical for us going forward to continue offering these scholarship opportunities here at Miami.
Well, David, it's great talking with you, and wish you stay safe and stay healthy. I know you've been in the office the entire time trying to, take care of business, and it's somewhere that none of us have ever been before. And quite frankly, I'm looking forward to the challenge of broadcasting all of those events coming up in the spring. But I know it's a huge challenge, and I thank you for not only your time today, but all you've done to put Miami in a position that's a great position moving forward.
Well, like you said, Bake, it has been 3 times I've had to tell student athletes now that we had to cancel something, right? We canceled those games in January, men's and women's basketball. We canceled spring sports, and then now we had to postpone fall sports. And it doesn't get any easier. In fact, it gets harder. I have a huge love and appreciation for student athletes and all the work they put in. And this has really been a difficult process for me. I feel like I'm letting them down, but at the same time, I gotta just trust the fact that we're doing this for their health and safety and their long-term well-being and for their parents. And it's not easy, but we continue to move on. And the one thing I'm always floored by is how resilient our kids are. And I too, I'm like you, I can't wait to look forward to the day that we get to be out there watching them play multiple sports.
Very good. Thank you so much, David. I appreciate the time.
Thank you, Bate.
All right.